During an interview with Yahoo News, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez appears to hint at who she may support in 2020 and who she is not all that excited about. So check this out. Quote, "I will support whoever the Democratic nominee is," the freshman Democrat from New York prefaced when asked her opinion of a Biden candidacy during an interview with Yahoo News Skullduggery podcast on Sunday. But a Biden run, quote, "does not particularly animate me right now," she said, citing a lot of issues. "I can understand why people would be excited by that. This idea that we can go back to the good old days with Obama's vice president," she said. "There's an emotional element to that, but I don't want to go back. I want to go forward." So before I get to who it appears she may endorse for 2020, let's break this down a little bit. Because if you're following AOC at all, you understand her politics, this should not be a surprise to you. But this may be a surprise to some liberals. So AOC really has this interesting sort of cross-ideological support. So there are a lot of liberal pundits I see on television who, for example, hate Bernie Sanders, but they love AOC. They may be surprised by the fact that AOC does not like Biden. Now, I think a lot of that is because they are so focused on her identity, and they aren't focused on her politics. So because she is this young Latino woman from the Bronx, they think, oh, this is great. This is the Democratic Party of the future. But they're just completely ignoring her politics, which, as these liberal pundits, don't normally support what AOC supports. So AOC not supporting or not being excited by Biden is not at all a surprise. But then again, look, actually, I want to speak to one issue here first. Because what she says here is exactly right. I think any of the support right now behind Biden, like you see in the polling, it's completely emotional. People have this emotional attachment where they connect Biden with Obama, and that is the only reason Biden has the support that he has right now, because of name recognition and because of his attachment to Obama. But if Biden runs, and it appears he may run, I don't see that support holding. Biden doesn't have the policy to back it up, and he has a terrible record. Whether it's voting with credit card companies, voting with Wall Street, voting for the Iraq War, the crime bill, go on and on and on. Biden has a terrible record. So I just don't see that support holding. Now, but when it gets to the actual general election, AOC is going to support whoever the Democratic nominee is, obviously. Anybody over Trump, I think, is completely expected for all these Democratic politicians. So that part of it isn't surprising at all. But now let's get to who she sort of hints at potentially supporting for 2020 in the primaries. She was an organizer for fellow Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders in 2016, but she isn't ready to give him her full support in the 2020 race just yet. Quote, "I'm very supportive of Bernie's run," she said Sunday. "I haven't endorsed anybody, but I'm very supportive of Bernie." She said she also likes Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. She said what Warren is bringing to the table is truly remarkable and transformational. So this gets us to who AOC is very likely to support in the Democratic primary, and I think that's Bernie Sanders. Now, Warren, as she says here, is also strong, but the fact that AOC, was an organizer for Bernie in 2016, I think that says a lot. And also add to the fact that right now, all the progressive support and energies behind Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren, I hate to say it, I think she missed her opportunity in 2016. I think she could have announced, in 2016, Bernie was waiting for Warren. Bernie didn't want to run. I'm not sure if people know this. Bernie was not planning to run. He was hoping that Elizabeth Warren would run and that he would support Bernie, or that Bernie would support her. Warren decided not to challenge the establishment and bow out in 2016, and that gave a spot open for Bernie to feel like, okay, well, if no one's going to push a progressive message, I guess I got to do it. And then he amassed this entire movement. So Warren, unfortunately, I think has kind of missed her opportunity here. But Warren's still a great candidate. She, for some reason, is not as strong on Medicare for all. That's one issue she's right now fairly weak on. She appears to support it, but is very careful with her language around it. But in terms of other issues, like when it comes to Wall Street or corporate power or taxing the rich, she is fantastic. So Elizabeth Warren is also a strong candidate, but because of Bernie's power right now and his the fact that AOC worked for him in 2016, I think it's very likely AOC will support Bernie in for 2020. But let's also look over here the positive and negative aspects of that endorsement. So on the positive side, progressive voters love AOC, liberal voters love AOC, so she has that cross appeal. On the negative side, conservative media absolutely hates Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So whoever AOC supports, conservative media, is also going to attack that person. So if she endorses Bernie, they're going to talk about, oh, look at these two socialists working together to try to transform the country and take it away from the people. They'll create some BS narrative like that. And also, another negative aspect, the Democratic establishment also does not like AOC. So that also means that this may, her endorsing Bernie could potentially lead to a situation where you have the, I was going to say you have the party leaders openly pushing back against AOC, but they are already doing that. So there really is no downside there. So ultimately, I think an endorsement from AOC will have a massively positive effect because voters love Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They love what she fights for. They love the fact that both AOC and Bernie don't take any corporate money, don't have any private fundraisers. They're simply backed by individual donors, mostly small individual donors. And right now, I think Bernie's average donation is $20 a piece. So you have these politicians that are just, they're there fighting for the people. And I think that really is the strong appeal of AOC and Bernie Sanders.